he gets to take because he's always ministering and working somewhere. But he'll be back this coming Sunday and for Kingdom Conversation next week. But I'm very privileged to have with me Mike Molinet. Is that how you say your last name?
Molinet.
Molinet. Well, that's French, right?
It's French, but I'm not French.
You're not French? Okay. But welcome to Kingdom Conversations.
Thank you.
And wow, you do a lot around KRM. I don't think we could even list all the things you do. But you have such a great heart for ministry, for helping, for compassion. And so it's just great to have you on the program today.
Thank you very much.
Tell people a little bit about, who you are and what you do.
Well, me and Brandy hail from Ohio. Go Bucks. I don't know, I'm trying to think of where to start. It's, we've been married for 27. I hope I don't get that right. Or get that wrong, I mean. But yeah, it was tough.
A lot of years.
Yeah, yeah, we got through it. And we're here back in KRM. We were here the first time. It felt like home, and then we had to go home or back to Ohio and came back, and it was still.
Well, what have you done? I mean, what's been your trade in the past?
I used to drive a school bus.
Oh.
I started driving the first time we moved down here, and then when I moved back to Ohio, I started driving up there. Tried the Amazon thing for a while. That didn't work out. And then got back on a bus, and then we came back and jumped on a bus again.
Yeah.
I was led to. It was weird how the conversation came up with me and Brandy. I wasn't real happy doing it.
Mm.
When I started, I loved it. Loved the kids.
Mm.
The kids were never the issue, and I mean, some bus drivers may say stuff different, but they weren't really an issue. It was the
kids on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more the management, and just kind of like, then I fell into this, the management of the building,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I really wanted to do. And then Brandy came to me, she got a promotion or whatever, and said, "Hey, what do you think about working full time at the church?"
Mm.
I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. So.
And here you are.
That's kind of how I fell into that. So.
Well, I know that we're going to kind of leave, I think, the announcements for later on, because I'd like to get right into this. I think I've heard portions of your testimony.
Okay.
But I'd kind of like for you just kind of share today, and maybe I'll jump in with questions here and there. But just kind of tell us a little bit about, to kind of get us started on that testimony.
Yeah. Well, we first got married. It was great. I mean, it's always been great. It's just I had gotten into some stuff with gaming, and started out with the kids, just doing it, spend time with them, and then noticed games more geared towards adults, and then they weren't into those games, and I found myself one day, Thanksgiving, this game I was playing was a pirate game, and found myself, it was a sink-a-thon to see how many ships you could sink.
Oh.
And I actually held up Thanksgiving so I could sink more ships.
Oh.
It was ridiculous.
We're talking video games, of course.
Yeah. Computer games.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have people playing all over the world and jumping on your ship and
Yeah.
you sink stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably when I should have realized it was getting out of control.
Mm.
There's another game. I'm not going to mention any names and give them props, but the kids were into it in the beginning, then they weren't. And then this has gone on for years, and basically Brandy had enough, and she packed the kids up. I started, actually, there was some marijuana involved too.
Mm.
I kept that from the kids, and that's where it really snowballed, because I got kind of excited when she said she was being led to Florida, and so it was messed up, man.
So you said she packed up the kids.
Yeah, she packed up the kids and rolled out the driveway, and I couldn't wait to get back in there on the computer. Yeah.
And when you say she packed up the kids, where did they go?
Here. Florida.
Oh, so she came all the way down to Florida and left you there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the writing on the wall as far as that. And we stayed friends. We kept the bank account joint and all that. And
How long did this go on?
almost 3 years.
Are you kidding?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
No. 2 years into that, I would make trips down to visit the kids and stuff. And, little by little, Jesus was showing me when I was messing up. Like, one instance was I had put that game, I was only playing one game at this time, and I put it in vacation mode so nobody would take my stuff, and put the last of my money in it to put it in vacation mode. And I come down, and Lexi had blown out a zipper in her khaki pants, and it was a Christian academy, and so there's a uniform code, and I couldn't even afford a pair of pants for my daughter. Yeah, it was terrible.
So now you really got into the games then because there was money involved.
Yeah.
And maybe some wouldn't know what that means. That how did you get money into it?
You buy the packs that they sell, and it gives you gear and boosts and stuff. And Brandy had confronted me about it, and she goes, "Do you know?" And she didn't yell. She didn't come at me with violence or nothing. She goes, "Do you know you spent $600 at
Oh
last
my
month
gosh!
in that game?"
Wow.
And I was like, "No, I didn't." And but yeah, it got pretty bad, and then there was I picked up the girls, and this song come on the radio, and I'm waiting in line because it's a big old line to pick up your kids, and it was called "Lead Me," and it's lead me with strong hands, and talking about the kids and the family and all that. And I just started crying in the car driving, and they got in. They go, "Why are you crying? What's wrong?" I'm like, "Listen to this song."
Yeah.
And they caught the tail end of it. Christian had this app where even if it had a portion of the song, it would pop up the title and stuff. So we listened to the whole thing again as I'm driving, crying down the road. And so I mean that's the kind of thing that Jesus was showing me I was missing out on.
It's interesting because they call it virtual reality. Not only the games, but the social media, and people get wrapped up. They can't get off their phones and that kind of thing. And I know that, I'm very attached to my phone, but of course it used to be when I was growing up, it had a cord on it. So, and you had call waiting and that kind of thing, but not like today.
No.
So, it is a trap when what they call virtual reality really has no virtue. Because it takes you away from those things if you're not careful. I mean, you can use it for good, but it can take you away from those things that mean the most. Yeah, like your family.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, and so what kind of turned things around besides that song?
Well, I come down and saw this. The kids were really stoked about seeing this movie, and I haven't watched TV in a year or more. It was just all gaming, and so I was like, okay, yeah, let's go see this movie. And so I came down like on the 14th and saw the movie it was October 2011. Came down the 14th, saw the movie on the 15th, and got saved on the 16th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you had not been born again yet, as far as...
We thought we were.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened then as far as how did that change things?
Well, it wasn't instant. I still had to regain that trust with Brandy. This is kind of messed up because I had developed all these relationships in the gaming community. And we did a lot of Skype stuff, just voice stuff. And so, I've been playing that game for like a year and a half, and I was actually crying when I was saying bye to these people. I never met them, just the voice on their thing, and I was like, this is crazy. I had to get up and excuse myself and go to the kitchen. And then I just gave it away too. I mean, I saw guys selling their accounts for like thousands of dollars, and I was one of the biggest ones, and I just gave it away. It was kind of neat because this one guy was called Wrecker in the game, and I didn't put two and two together, but once I got to know him, he actually drove a Wrecker.
Oh, really?
A tow truck.
That's right.
Yeah. And he was somewhere in Carolina, one of the Carolinas, and I actually had to call him. It turned out he was a Christian, and he's getting his life together, and or a believer, and so I actually had to call him because our nephew was driving back to Ohio following Brandy, and his car broke down, and it was literally like toast. It was blew up. It ain't gonna work. So he put me in touch with another tow truck guy to tow it to the salvage yard and get a couple $100 out of it, and then he jumped in the car with Brandy and finished the trip to Ohio. But it was kind of neat to see that. I mean, it's a little bit of light in that darkness.
Yeah. Well, you said, before you really, as we say, call it born again, got saved, as we say. You said, but you kind of thought you were before that.
Yeah. I mean, we grew up in the church.
Okay.
Our kids, as toddlers, grew up in a church. We'd gone to church for 10 plus years, but I never felt like I felt when I.
Yeah.
You just know.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And
yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. It just put a fire in me. When I finally, it was probably a year after I got saved that I moved down, somewhere between 6 months and a year. And I was smoking cigarettes at the time, and it was New Year's Eve, and I was like, I need to get. I looked down, I got 2 cigarettes left, and I'm like, I need to get some more smokes, And then I heard this voice in my head, why? And I smoked those 2 cigarettes, and that was it.
Yeah, that's it.
There was no craving, there was no nothing.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, this is wild.
Wow. I guess really what I'm hearing is in the difficult time, it was about addiction. Not only to cigarettes or the marijuana, but to the games. I don't think people could, most would say how, well, we could say we get addicted to gaming, but you really were.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was like something that you felt you had to have, right?
Yeah.
So how did you break free of that? I mean, once you got saved.
Like I said, I had to go back, and I basically did the cold turkey thing. I called the people. I got them on the Skype, and I said, "Listen, I was like, I got to change my life. I need my family back, and you guys mean. I mean, I don't know how I could say you mean a lot to me, but I actually cried, like I said. And as far as the account went, I gave it to that record guy. I didn't sell it. I just said, I'm done, man. There's more important things.
It sounds to me a bit like also that, yes, while it was an addiction, it was not good. It came between you and your family. But in the midst of it, it looks like there was hints of a ministry, because you cried when you had to say goodbye to the people.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes we took the wrong direction with addiction or something that was a substitute. In the midst of it, we were actually doing what we were supposed to be purposed to do, but without finding out why. In other words, now you were actually probably ministering, even though you didn't talk about Jesus on the games, but you were probably had a lot of compassion for the people, and that's why you actually cried when you said goodbye.
Yeah. I see that. I believe there can be I don't know if I do believe there could be a happy medium there. But when it does come in between family, your bills, stuff, then it's not good.
Well, now you actually, instead of virtual reality, you actually minister to people in reality.
Yeah.
And first of all, your family. So how's this developed in your family, this whole turnaround?
It was slow at first. My son, I still think we need to mend some fences.
Mm.
But my daughters are with us now, so we're building those relationships. They're asking me out now. Where I can actually go out and spend some time with them out in the world.
Mm.
But, I mean, as far as the trust and the love, it's there. Yeah, the video testimony, when I saw it last week, I did a video testimony probably 2 years after I got saved. We were meeting a men's group at a church up the road, and the guy was doing a series on Look Up. Look up from your computer, look up from your cell phone devices and everything. And he had heard my testimony, and he wanted to know if he could record it and use it in a series. I said, yeah. And so we did it, and I thought it was lost forever until last Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
And so I saw it for the first time in a long time, and it just brought some questions up, like there was an instance where Brandy was saying, I believe the Lord's leading me to Florida.
Mm-hmm. And
I said, I didn't think about it, but I just said, who am I to stand in the way of the Lord? This is before I was saved. I knew enough not to get in God's way. But I got to thinking, I'm like, because I saw the look in her face, man. It just crushed her. I'm like, but I had to talk to her because I didn't really know. I didn't really know where she was going with the statement, Like, I got to thinking, I was like, what does she want me to go with her? But she said no.
Oh. Did she say why at that point?
She'd had enough. She'd had enough. I mean, they were, they weren't important to me. I hate to say it, but I was not where I was supposed to be.
Yeah. So when you really got your life together, now the family's back together, and I know you say you're still kind of mending some fences and that kind of thing. With some of the things Liz and I went through during our time of real fire, and I don't mean fire passion, I mean fiery times. This is like 35 years ago now, but and we were separated for 3 years also. I don't know if you knew that. But it looked like ministry was over, our family was done. It looked like we were done.
Wow.
But God miraculously brought us back together. But in the midst of it, part of it in dying to self, dying to what I thought about who I am, and coming into understanding who I really am. And that's a process we're still going on.
Yeah.
But I found that I was rediscovering her, and she was rediscovering me. And we were rediscovering, for the first time, the kingdom. And I know that's had to have had a big impact in how God is accelerating your restoration and healing. How has it made a difference in you concerning the kingdom?
Well, during that time, we, once I moved down, I've always heard the big thing is you gotta get a degree.
Yeah.
Because I always felt led to being a pastor, so I wanted to get that degree. And so I think I was going to the Bible college out in Fort Pierce. You've gone to that church.
Oh yeah, no, I can't think of the Bible college either. But I know which one you mean.
Yeah, I can't.
I think I've actually taught there too. That's really...
Yeah. And so they canceled class one day because of storms. They canceled stuff down here for all kinds of stuff. And so Brandy says, well, why don't you come to church? And she was going to Kingdom Reign when it was on Prima Vista. And so I said, okay. And, I was kind of happy because I didn't do my homework yet. So I'm sitting in the back, doing my homework, catching up, and the message that Apostle was preaching, I'm not sure what he called it, but the phrase that caught me was, I don't care how educated you are, if you're not called to do it, it's not going to happen.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
So so I think I finished that semester, but that was it. But so I mean that started it, and then I just started going to church with Brandy all through the week. That day just happened to fall on Wednesday or Thursday whenever they were having church. It was in class time, so I was going there on Sundays. But no, I don't think they had a Sunday service at that one. I can't remember, but once we moved, or they moved, I guess we moved to the Port St. Lucie Boulevard location. Yeah, I just remember we were working on the building one night, and it was after dark, and me and Apostle stood outside. He goes, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "Feels like home, man."
Wow. Kingdom reign.
Yeah, it was good.
And you've been ever since, right?
Yeah, we were called away to Ohio for a 3 years. I can't remember how long it was, but it was God, because it was sad, but Brandy's grandma passed away, and then her dad passed away like a day or two later. It was crazy, and then we had to get the house ready to sell and all that, and move back.
So when we talk about now the understanding of you've been here for a while now, you've been back, the message of the kingdom, we're not talking about Jehovah's Witness. We're not talking about Kingdom Hall. We're talking about the message of God's kingdom.
Well, yeah.
Right. How has that, what has it said to you as far as helping you to really begin to capture your purpose? It's not to pastor, evidently, right? That's what you said.
No, it is to pastor.
Oh, it is to pastor.
Yeah, I don't need the degree to pastor.
There you go.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's because I feel comfortable talking to perfect strangers. It gets on Brandy's nerves.
Liz is the same way.
Pump.
She can go up to a stranger.
And I'll talk to the guy on the other side of the pump. I mean, it's crazy how, but to get in a group setting and put me up on the stage, I'm sweating already. But as far as going out and getting the lost sheep,
yeah. I'm glad to hear that, because I've noticed in you, the little time that I've known you, that you do have a pastoral heart. But it doesn't mean always platform ministry.
Right. And that made me comfortable when he said that, too. I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
That's me.
So, you went to church all those years. And again, it's not to put down other churches at all.
Right.
Yet you still wasn't getting it. You weren't, really saying, okay, how does this impact my life? Who am I? I don't know. I'm just going to church. Hope I'll get to heaven. But now you're in a church at this point, after God's brought your family back together, and it's the theme is the kingdom, as a government, and you begin to say, what is it that sparked you to say, this is home? I mean, what was it that you feel like, besides that one message?
Well, it was like the whole interpretation of the Bible, really. I mean, I grew up during the Left Behind series.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And so to hear it, well, not just come from Apostle, but actually just breaking it down, and learning what it really means. It's pretty cool.
So who do you feel like now, and I tell even the class last night, discovering our purpose, who we are, because purpose isn't first what we do, it's first who and why we are. That will produce what we do.
Yeah.
But, it is a process. It's a journey.
It's been a long journey. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm up there in years a little bit, although I'm still young at heart. And been in the ministry over 50 years, but yet I feel like I'm just scratching the surface in the discovery of who I am in Him, in Christ. What have you begun to discover about some of those things that, the temptation is to torment ourselves with where we were.
Yeah, I did some of that. Like when I watched that video, like I said, so I had to go talk to Brandy. I mean, like, I know you forgive me, but what about this? What about that?
And what was her general response?
She said, yeah, I forgive you.
Because did she kind of come into the understanding of the kingdom a little before you?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But yeah, yeah, I'm sure she did. Because it wasn't until, like I said, doing that Bible college thing.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was there.
Yeah. And she was having a transformation, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I wasn't back there yet when she did that. But yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, I'm so glad that he was guiding my footsteps.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I mean, I have, and we all do, tend to look back and say, wow, I can't believe I was there, or I did that, or I was that, or I thought I was that. But really, all those are lessons, aren't they? I mean, it's about, I thank God for where he's brought me from and where he's brought me to. So maybe now I can even see, well, maybe the indications are the reason why I was off there was because God was trying to show me where I need to be.
Yeah. And
so now when you look back over that, and you're beginning to know more who you are. Because, we've known each other, you've known Apostle a lot longer, but we've known each other, 3 years now?
Yep.
I just see a giant in you. I mean, I just see that compassionate, some would call you laid back, but I think you have, I often say wisdom listens more than it speaks. Mm. And I think before you speak, you really do listen to the heart of somebody. So in that way, you're very pastoral, but I just see you continuing to emerge. And it wouldn't surprise me if someday you are on the pulpit and probably preaching,
I could do it once every 2 years.
Well, I'm telling you, my personality has always been shy. I mean, I'm still amazed. My knees don't knock, they miss every time I get up to speak. I mean, if people really knew, it's all God, it's not me, because I'm just like, oh Lord, help me.
We did a class with Apostle when it was over on Port St. Lucie Boulevard, and it was just basically a building class. I can't remember what it was called, but at the end of it, everybody who participated in class had to give up a sermon,
mm-hmm.
Preach from the pulpit, and it came my time. I think I only went like 20 minutes.
Mm.
But then I felt bad for him because he said, let's give it up for Mike. And he put his hand in the small of my back, and I just feel the sweat just filling it. It was head to toe. I'm like,
yeah. Well, and again, as we develop, as we grow, I really believe we end up doing things we never thought we would be able to do, and
I feel that, because
then he gets all the praise and the glory.
I mean, if you're, and I'm seeing it now. If your heart is in it,
mm-hmm.
and the subject, it's just that much easier.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to get up there and put words together.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first time when I really began to get into understanding I had a calling on my life, but I was like, God, you talking to me? Because I was so shy, I can't even describe it, but I had a heart to help people. I just didn't. You're actually calling me to speak. I had really to get over some stuff, but I remember the first time that I heard a minister, this is years and years ago, speak that spoke something to my heart, and I wanted to get up and say something. I'm like, this is me. I want to get. I wanted to go up and help him preach, not because he needed me to help him, but I was like, whoa, this is tapping something I didn't even know was in there.
That's cool.
And there's treasures like that in you, and it's like, have you felt that? I mean, it's like you hear a word and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, I had the men pray for me Monday night, and to hear some of those prayers, it really
yeah,
I can do this.
And you find there might be a little bit of a roar in there.
Yeah. It was just awesome.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Well, now here you are at KRM, and you and your wife Brandy. Tell us a little bit about her. I mean, I really love Brandy. She is such a powerhouse.
Yeah, she's awesome. I give her all the credit because, there's sometimes when I want to do stuff and she makes me stop and think about it,
Mm.
and probably saves me in that manner, in that instance. And but she's a great cook.
Oh, okay.
I think you know that.
Yeah, because a couple of times I think she brought some dishes.
Yep. And I mean, she's just amazing. I mean, she's basically holding the house down, and why she let me grow in spirit of growth.
Mm-hmm.
So I love her for that.
Yeah.
And she waited patiently while God did his work in me.
Mm.
I mean, 3 years
Yeah.
is a long time to wait.
Yeah, but here you are. It's really interesting how patient God is with us. I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
Look what he had to work with. I mean,
Me too.
But then he says, "Yeah, but I got stuff in you." So, I think maybe you could just for a little bit before we continue on, could just minister to somebody who may have felt like I've just blown it too far. I've just messed up too big, and I don't think there's ever getting it back or try to get anywhere. And there might even, and sometimes marriages do end in divorce, and that's not the end of everything. We know that, but it could be some marriages. I often say the problem isn't the marriage; it's what's happening in the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So some may be going through some of the things you went through in one way or another. What would you say to them about don't lose hope and seek God on this?
Yeah, I mean, I remember a Toby Mac song. I got hooked on the live concert that he did. I can't remember, but one of his bits was from I think it was 1 John. It doesn't matter how far away from God or how thick the muck is that you're walking in.
Mm.
I mean, all you have to do is turn around. He's right there.
Mm-hmm.
He never leaves you.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's the first thing that pops into my head.
Yeah. Well, there is hope, isn't there? I mean, there's not only hope, but I mean, God wouldn't have had us born if he didn't have a purpose for us. And the enemy is just a deceiver to try to keep us from it.
Yeah. He tried.
So now when you saw this video again for the first time in a long time, you said it brought tears to your eyes and you were just like remembering some things. Was there anything about the video that told you that you've come quite a distance?
Yeah, I mean, at the end, I think it says something about being restored, not fully restored, but it's a start.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I was led to do this, but I thought I was being led to do it from the pulpit, actually.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I found the video, because there was I read the daily verse
Mm-hmm.
on I think it's the Bible app,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of these scriptures were like, I can't remember how, it just felt like it was time,
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to search for that video,
Mm.
last 2 weeks ago, and I cruised by that church because he's still a pastor there,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody was ever there, and so I was like, told Pastor Shaniqua the story, and she goes, "Oh, I got that." What?
Oh, wow.
So she like airdropped it on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
and as soon as the little jingle started in the beginning, it was like, "Oh wow, this is
Wow.
This is it."
I wish we would have had the video. We could have played it today.
You got it.
Oh, you've got it? Can we play it? How long is that? I don't know.
4 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
50
I didn't know that. So, yes, can we play it now? All right.
You gonna be able to hear the jingle? It started with kind of started with the video games. Started out slow. You know, I would share some video games with my kids, and then you know, it just snowballed after that. It started getting into the games that weren't really designed for kids. Some kids say they are, but some kids, you know, but they anyway. Started paying lots of money into them, lots of time took away from my kids, my family, my wife. Basically, just, you know, it ruined my marriage, our family. Just, you know, it was over a period of years, but, you know, my wife had enough, and so I watched them walk out of my life. Actually, they drove out down the driveway. She was led to Florida, but I actually got a little excited because now I had all this freedom and time, and that's basically how the devil stole everything from me, and I didn't even fight for it. Once it was just me and the video games, you know, I played them from the time I actually woke up at the desktop till it was time to go to work. And then I played until basically just fell asleep at the computer. And it wasn't just the video games. It was, you know, it was all of it. Anything the internet had to offer. Basically gave me a God complex. This one video game I was pretty good at, and I guess that's how he kept me in it. You know, I gained respect in the video game, so that was my, you know, yeah, it was a God complex. I mean, you know, nobody wanted to mess with me because I put so much money into the game that I was one of the biggest players on the server. So. Yeah, it was tough times, you know. I'd come down to visit my children and my ex-wife. You know, I started seeing a little light, and it took two years, but you know, I explained it to Brandy. It was like Jesus kicked me in the head. It was what I needed. You know, it was like I would pick up the girls from the school. It'd be a song on our radio, and it was all about me. It was a Sanctus Real song, I believe, Lead Me. And the girls got in the car and seen their dad crying. But yeah, it was good. It was all about me. Anyway, it was October 16th. Came down here on the 14th. We saw the movie Courageous. That movie, it changed my life. You know, it was Jesus that changed my life, but that movie was helped push me away from what I needed to be pushed away from. So after I seen the movie Courageous, it wasn't an instant restoration, but it was definitely the start.
From the outside, I'm working hard. I tell myself they'll be fine, they're independent, but on the inside, oh, I can hear them saying.
Okay, I think we are back. Wow. I mean, I think I heard most of it, but we had a little technical difficulty here, but I know the people could hear it. One thing you said in the video that I heard was you had almost the video games gave you a God complex.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
You basically just rule that world.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
anyone come to you just smash them. They just-
Yeah.
the game I was involved in, if you paid to play or whatever, you're putting your money in there, and then the guys, you can have up to like 10 cities, but you can lose cities.
Mm.
If you only have one city, you can't lose anything. But
Mm-hmm.
if you have 10, then you can lose 9.
Mm.
And basically all your heroes and troops die. And
Mm.
so, I mean, you can lose a lot.
Yeah.
So a lot of people watch their steps around mine.
Yeah. Well, some people would say, well, how dangerous is a nice little game? I mean, it may not even be a bad, evil game, but even the good ones can be addicting.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a pay-to-play option on the game, it's a place where you could lose control.
Yeah.
And
I'll just be transparent. I mean, I'm not addicted, thank God, but I do love Halo.
I've not played well, actually, I can't say that's true. I used to play with my nephew, and he thought it'd be fun to just kill me every time we played. I'm like, dude, how's that fun for me?
Yeah.
20 times in a row, you kill me in like 30 seconds or less.
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, and again, I anything, not anything, but even that, it's about outer space and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
But the God complex, that really spoke when you mentioned that in that video.
Yeah.
That really is still associating with God, but we were the God.
Yeah.
And that problem, that was the problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, when you really begin to say, you know what, I recognize this addiction to these games, and how it made you feel. How now has God, it's not a complex anymore, but you're actually giving him the glory.
Yeah.
He's the one that is giving you the strength, the power to discover who you are. How has that replaced that addiction? Or delivered you, I should say.
I think you feel better about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wasting any money anymore.
Yeah.
I got my family back. It's basically replaced it with things I need, not things I want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I said that right.
Yeah. Yeah, he supplies all of our needs, so that will include the right ones, right?
Yeah.
So, does it mean people can't play video games?
No, I think it's the same as, I had a talk with one of the guys Monday night. I think there's a happy medium.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel the need to pay to play, then you got to make sure your family's happy, make sure your bills are paid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if I will never pay to play again. But I mean, that's one of the things I actually stayed away from computer and the sound booth.
Mm.
I felt that I don't want anything to do with computers. I mean, I haven't touched. I mean, I can't say that, but as far as sitting down working at a computer or anything like that, I haven't done it in a long time.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I lived in front of one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and there, it said from the time I got up, or from the time I went to work, I got back, I'm on that computer.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up in front of the computer.
Mm-hmm.
I go to work. That was my life for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I didn't really want to
Wow.
anything to do with computers.
Yeah. So you said, you brought up earlier about, smoking, how it just left you.
Mm-hmm.
You just stopped.
Yeah.
And you knew that was a change. Was it the same way with the addiction to games?
No, not in the beginning. Because, like I said, I developed all those relationships, and
Mm-hmm.
it was hard to Randy was patient, and she says, you got to quit that video game. Because I'd quit the drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I really wasn't drinking at that time, but I quit the smoking, the weed.
Mm-hmm.
I quit doing that, and the cigarettes, and then she goes, you know, you got to quit that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, but that's not going to be easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I went home, or flew back, went to work, and then that next morning, I got up, and there were a few people on. Somebody was on in London. Somebody was on in UK, or Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wrecker was on there. I think his name, I can't remember his name. I got him on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I just told him what happened and
Yeah.
what I'm going to be doing with my life now.
Yeah. Do you think it's ministering to some of those?
I think so, because when I did that, you know, that's when I found out Wrecker, or it's right on the tip of my tongue, his real name. But and there was another lady who lived like 40 minutes from him who played on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, well, have you ever come to our church?
Mm-hmm.
After they were already going to church. And I'm like, oh, wow.
That's
too,
awesome.
That's too cool.
Yeah.
You know, and they weren't nearly on as much as I was.
Yeah. Well, you know, really the bottom line is video games, you know, and again, in moderation, and that they're not evil and that kind of thing, is okay. But really, it's escapism.
Yeah.
And then that is the issue, because if that was your form of escaping, you know, like it could be for anybody with any kind of addiction, it's, you have to say then, what am I escaping? Why am I trying to escape, you know, take a virtual vacation all the time? It's because we're not really facing some of the issues. It's like, you know, some people need music on all the time, and I love music, but they need it on the time because they don't want silence, because they might be afraid they'll hear their thoughts. You know?
Yeah.
But once you came to that place to where, okay, the escapism wasn't there anymore, you were facing reality, what did you find? A peace, or?
Oh, I definitely found peace, but at the same time, there was lots to do. I mean, mending relationships, and, you know, I actually went to my family and told them what happened, and you know, going back to Florida and stuff, and, you know, my mom, I think, got it, but I don't know about my sisters, but yeah, it was different. You know, there's a lot to do, because they knew how I was, they knew what I was doing, and they just let me do it.
Yeah. So when you didn't have the escape, and you had to deal with the reality, then you from what I'm hearing, you've discovered God was there. He was always there, but I mean, now he could really speak to you because there was no need to hide or run.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad, because we get, and, you know, and I just appreciate so much you coming on today and sharing. Is there anything else you'd like to say to people in this whole aspect of what we're talking about today?
Well, I hope you all heard the video, because we did not. And, I mean, I heard it before, but, I mean, if any questions, anybody needs help, don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, yeah. So, really, I see you all the time here at Kingdom Marine Ministries, over in the corner talking to somebody. And I'm thinking, he's ministering again. He's listening. He's, you know.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciate that about you. You're very real, very transparent, and I hope in no way you underestimate how valuable you are to all of us here and to what you've shared today.
Yeah, I hope this opens up. I'd always been told that this is that's a ministry. Everybody's going through that.
Yeah.
And so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I will say, you know, my son Jay, he's a pastor, associate pastor over at a community, community church. He's going to get after me for not remembering the name of it. But Pastor Craig Bridgers, and so Jay and Courtney are associates there. But he loves video games.
Okay.
But he does the talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
But he has ministered to so many.
I've heard that. The pastor at the Bible college I was talking about, I got to know their son, and he's in one of those big games, and he does that.
Yeah, he doesn't preach at them,
No.
but whenever they say something a little too raunchy or whatever, he's like, hey, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
But then they start opening up to him and saying things. So he's actually made it a ministry. So it's just how we handle it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, before we give you time to maybe just say a prayer for everybody that has been watching today, let me just share a few things that are going on before we run out of time. We have coming up the Kingdom Advanced Training Seminar in April 12th and 13th, 2 days, Friday evening and a Saturday, half a day. The theme is going to be on kingdom character, the key to colonization of nations. And we are so excited about the team that is going to be speaking, as you see there, and we'll be mentioning more about that as it gets closer. But please mark it on your calendar. This is a spring edition. We also have a fall edition. But, and you see there in the middle, that bright face, that's Apostle Chris right there we were talking about. Mm-hmm. And we just thankful for each and every one. Dr. Shirley Mangum is going to be sharing, Les Dorsey, myself, and again, I mentioned Jay and Courtney and our daughter, Victoria, are going to be the MCs. Please try to make it out to that. The cost is free. We will receive offerings, but there's no pressure. We just want everybody to get in on this, because what you talked about today was really all about character, really discovering the character that God put inside of us. And also coming up every Thursday is Discipleship Thursday. Help me out. Is there something else I'm not thinking of, Miss Producer? I know it seems like there is. My class. Yeah. Tuesdays. We are in about the middle of the 7-week course, Growing into Kingdom Maturity, Kingdom Reign, or you could view on Facebook. And last night we had another great class talking about prophetic genetics. Yeah, good stuff. So you're welcome to come out to that. That also is free. Such a deal.
When's that ladies' meeting?
Yeah, and there's a ladies' meeting coming up, right? We don't have do we have a graphic on that? We've got so much coming up. No? Yes? Okay, what?
The 22nd?
Is it the 22nd? I know on Mondays is the men's meeting.
Or the 17th? 17th? Yeah, 17th.
Okay, and that's a Saturday.
Yep.
And the men's meetings are on the
second and fourth Monday.
And then also, I don't think we were really supposed to be announcing it, but you will just kind of sneak it in. The Dominion Business Network is meeting again on March 2nd.
You are sneaking that in.
I am sneaking it in, but just don't tell anybody. Anyway, so I think that pretty much tells you. And of course, Sundays here at KRM, and we're going to be welcoming Apostle back into the pulpit, and he's going to probably be full and overflowing, ready to go.
And Bishop.
And Bishop's going to be here. That's right. Yeah, I think Bishop's going to be speaking, Bishop Gary Clowers. So thank you so much for tuning in. Do you have something you'd like to say before? And then I'd like you to close in prayer. Just pray for people out there.
Yeah. Not much left to say, so we'll just go ahead and pray.
Yeah, amen.
Father, I'm so thankful for this ministry. I'm so thankful for this house. And I pray that you would give safe travels to those who are traveling. Just continue to, just build us. I just reach out with a healing prayer over those who are struggling with what we covered today.
Amen.
Just give them the confidence to ask for help and open their hearts to you, Lord. Pray this in the glorious name of Jesus.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. But such warm compassion that comes through you. It's just amazing. Well, that's it for Kingdom Conversations this week. And again, we've had special guest Mike Molinet, the French name. He's not French, though. No. Anyway, until next time, what do we say? To